I've always been obsessive about locking my doors. Deadbolt first, then handle lock. Then I tug on it, twice. I live in a pretty normal suburban neighborhood. Quiet street, porch lights on timers, the kind of place where kids leave bikes on lawns. That's probably why I felt safe. It was a Thursday. My husband was out of town for work, and it was just me and my 6-year-old daughter Ellie. Normal night, dinner, bath, one episode of her cartoon, teeth brushed, bedtime story. Around 9:15, I did my usual routine. Front door locked, back slider locked, garage door closed. I even checked the windows in the living room because one of them sticks sometimes. Everything secure. I remember thinking, okay, we're good. I went upstairs, turned on the hallway nightlight, and watched TV in my room for maybe an hour before falling asleep. The first strange thing. At 2:17 a.m., I woke up. Not to a noise, not to Ellie crying, just awake. You know that feeling? When your body feels alert before your brain understands why? I listened. The house was quiet. Then I heard it, a soft click, like the sound of metal shifting. I sat up in bed. It came from downstairs. I told myself it was the fridge compressor or the heater kicking on. Houses make noises at night, especially when it cools down. I lay back down, and that's when I heard a very slow creak. Not loud, just enough to know something had moved. I grabbed my phone and checked the baby monitor app. Ellie was asleep in her bed, sprawled sideways like she always does. Everything looked normal. I stayed awake for another few minutes, listening. Nothing. Eventually, I convinced myself I'd imagined it. The second anomaly. The next morning, I came downstairs to make coffee. The front door was unlocked, both locks, deadbolt and handle. I froze. I knew I'd locked it. I always lock it. I stood there staring at it, replaying the night in my head. Maybe I got distracted. Maybe I checked the back door and forgot the front. I tested it. The locks worked fine. No damage, no scratches, just unlocked. I felt uneasy for a few minutes, then embarrassed. I told myself I'd simply forgotten. That night, I made a point of locking it again, slowly, deliberately. Deadbolt, handle, tug twice. I even said it out loud. Locked. Ellie laughed at me. "Mommy, you always check it." "I know," I said, just being safe. The child sensing. Something around midnight. Ellie came into my room. She never does that. She stood next to my bed. "Mom?" I blinked awake. "What's wrong?" "I heard someone walking." My stomach dropped. "Where?" "In the hallway." I looked toward the door. The hallway nightlight was on. Nothing there. "You probably heard the house settling," I said gently. "Or maybe me going to the bathroom." "You didn't," she said quietly. That stuck with me, but I didn't want to scare her. So I walked her back to her room. On the way, I checked the hallway closet. Empty. Bathroom. Empty. Everything normal. I tucked her in and went back to bed. I lay there for almost an hour, staring at the ceiling. Then I heard it again. That soft, metal sound. This time, unmistakable. The sound of the front door handle turning. Slowly. Testing. Anxiety builds. I didn't move. I couldn't. I strained to listen. There was a faint push against the door. Then silence. Then another slight jiggle. Someone was checking it. Seeing if it would give. My chest felt tight. I reached for my phone and opened the security app for the doorbell camera. It was loading. Loading. Finally, it connected. The camera was dark, black screen, offline. That had never happened before. I told myself it was Wi-Fi, but deep down, I knew someone had cut it. Direct warning moment. I heard something else then, not at the front door, inside, a soft footstep on hardwood from downstairs. Ellie's bedroom was at the end of the hall. If someone was in the house, they were between me and her. I slid out of bed and locked my bedroom door quietly. Then I called 911, whispering, "There's someone in my house." The operator told me officers were on the way, and that's when I heard it. A floorboard creak right outside my door. Slow breathing. On the other side, the reveal. The doorknob turned. Once, twice, slowly, like whoever it was didn't want to make noise. I backed away, grabbing the heavy lamp from my dresser. The knob stopped moving. Then I heard footsteps retreating, heading down the hall, toward Ellie's room. Something snapped in me. I unlocked the door and ran. I don't even remember making the decision. I just remember adrenaline. I reached the hallway just as a shadow moved near her doorway. A man, hooded sweatshirt, gloves. He turned when he saw me. We were maybe 8 feet apart. He hadn't expected me to come out for half a second. We just stared at each other, and then he ran down the stairs, front door slamming open. Aftermath police arrived within minutes. The front door lock showed no damage, but the officer found something else. Scratch marks near the latch, like someone had been testing it for days. The doorbell camera wire had been cut outside. And in the backyard, near Ellie's window, there were footprints. They believe he'd been checking the house, trying the door, seeing if it was locked. The first night, when I found it unlocked, they think he'd already been inside, testing, learning the layout, listening. That's what keeps me awake now. Not that he tried, but that he may have walked through my house while we were sleeping. And I told myself it was just the heater. I don't just tug the lock twice anymore. I check it 5 times. And sometimes I still wake up at 2:17 a.m. listening.